Hello everyone, my name is Miriam and I'm gonna be doing project number 2. In this set of presentations of slides, here I have the questions that I'm gonna be going over with. So, welcome. So what did I learn about creativity that I didn't know from the previous project? Well, I learned that creativity has two aspects that are valuable to it, them being relevance and novelty. Relevance means that the solution is actually relevant to the problem, and then novelty means that it is original, so that no one has done it before or that it is unique. If context is not right or if relevance is not applied, then it's obsolete and it has no value to the problem that we're trying to solve. This information, I got it from the lecture from Dr. Diasio. Well, now I'm going over some myths that I learned. I'm gonna be talking about three. Two of them I learned from the book Creativity Rising, and then one of them I learned from the video from Dr. Diasio. So the first is the one that Dr. Diasio talked about, and is about creativity being only part of elitist professions, for example, like ballet or being a writer. Dr. Diasio explains that basically they're not that creative. As I understood, for example, ballet is actually something that people have, like a choreography that people have basically repeated over years and years. So there's nothing creative about that. And for example, a cheerleader, on the other hand, has to actually create new choreographies as the context changes. So I think that's very, very, very crazy that I never thought about that. And also, I learned that, for example, from the book, there's a myth that says that kids are the most creative and that adults are not creative. And this myth is actually really, really ingrained in my head because I think everyone talks about kids being the only creative ones and adults being like ingrained in their jobs, not having fun, not thinking out of the box. But the book actually talks about how adults have more experience to actually be more creative than kids. Um, Also, I learned that creativity is not the result of being innately creative, but actually being trained to be creative and putting the hard work to be creative. So I think that's very, very interesting to learn. The myth that surprised me the most was that, as I said, kids are not as creative as adults, and that, of course, creativity needs to be trained and actually followed with, and it is not innate, it's a result of hard work. I think those two meet in the middle, and also like to train to be creative and have more experience as an adult also required hard work. So these two overlap, and I think they surprised me really, really, really like a lot. So why is it important for companies to have the creativity mode on? I put this picture of the cat because it reminded me of what creativity can do. For example, basically make it more comfortable to work. So, for example, the company can relax and lay back while the fruits of their creativity do the job. It is highly important, talking about creativity, because it not only makes work easier, but it can also catch the eye of the audience if it is different enough. So creativity and uniqueness is needed to stand out in a crowd of competition. In a world full of automatization, creativity goes a long way in order to, as I said, stand out of the crowd. Um, Two examples of this is, for example, a company that provides streaming services doesn't want someone that just automatizes the streaming service, but that adds more features and amenities in order to stand out. For example, closed captions as one streams. The second example is someone that does taxes and works in this field, notarizes also. I thought about this, and yes, it is a very monotone and set in stone work, but one could generate creative ideas to firstly educate customers. So, for example, creating a database or like an information um, course that can be purchased or can be included in the tax service, that also informs clients on what they're doing and what can they do to maybe make taxes better, I think would be also another example. So the two most common approaches are convergent and divergent. These two approaches, I got them from a YouTube video that I'm gonna be posting down in my comments. So convergent thinking is kind of like the more familiar traditional thinking, in which a person finds common solutions to a problem and then finally just converges to one solution that is usually common, as I said. And then divergent thinking is about generating creative ideas and wild kind of ideas that actually are out of the norm, but that also um, fulfill the aspect of solving a problem. So this is the creative change model. We know that it has four aspects. It has the persons and processes, which are part of the environment, the product, and then the creative change. A real life example of the creative change I can think of is when my parents decided to open a restaurant back in Colombia. There was a need for cheap and good food on the go, and my parents thought about a combo deal that would sell every day for the same price, which was very affordable. The environment was right. My grandma had an open lot, well, a house that was empty, and they decided that this was the right time and place to open the restaurant. In turn, people started to have a positive feedback on the idea that my parents had. It not only was affordable, but it also let them go to work and have lunch breaks that were quick and nutritious and also affordable. My parents ended up selling this business, but it still runs with the same process that they made about 10 years ago. So I think the four aspects of the creative change model are seen in this example just because, firstly, the people were my parents. The process was thinking about the problem of the people that needed nutritious and very quick lunches. The product is the lunch itself, and then the creative change was that people started uh, being more eager to go to work and actually having more time to have their break and have a nutritious food to fuel their day. Thank you for watching, and I think I'm gonna put the sources in the comments. Thank you so much.